I regret buying a Xbox Series X in 2025. Now, I would like to quickly note that I am not complaining about owning one. I'm not like, oh, all I have is this stupid Series X. It's so dumb, I don't like having it. No, I'm not complaining. But if I had to do over again, I wouldn't have bought it. For several reasons. One of the biggest reasons is it just hasn't been justified for me. At the time of my recording this, I'm recording this on December 3rd, I have played 2 games on it that were not released on the Xbox One. 2 games. And I've had the thing for at least 6 months now, I want to say, and the 2 games that I've played on it that weren't released on Xbox One were Killing Floor 3, which was okay, and Painkiller 2025. And that game was just absolutely horrible. So basically, I bought the console to play Killing Floor 3. And that game was decent at best, and it was not worth spending $400 some on a console to play it. Now, to be completely fair, I did buy a third game that wasn't released on Xbox One, being Funko Fusion, but I just haven't gotten around to playing that one yet. But basically, I bought 3 games for the thing. One was okay, one was absolutely horrible, one of the worst games I've ever played, and the other one is just sitting on my shelf right now. I haven't even installed it yet. So basically, looking back, I'm like, wow, I'm just not using this thing. And whenever I am using it, it's to play games that were released on Xbox One. Looking back, I think the better financial decision would have been to have just gotten a much cheaper Xbox One, because that's mainly what I'm using the thing for, is just Xbox One games. You know, and with Xbox giving up their exclusives, that's another reason I regret it. I just feel stupid for buying it. Like, I got the thing, I want to say it was like maybe one day before the Gears of War on PlayStation announcement. I got it like one day before Xbox gave up one of their flagship games, and after that they decided to give up Halo. So it's like, why do I even have this thing? What is the purpose of having this thing when every game being released on it is also going to be on the PlayStation, but the PlayStation games, not all of them are going to be on Xbox? So looking back, I think the better choice would have been for me to have bought a Xbox One, and down the line, maybe gotten a PS5. And there's going to be that one dude who's like, oh, you should just gotten a PC. Well, for starters, I've tried my hand at PC gaming. It's just not quite my thing. You know, I don't have anything against it. If you like PC gaming, cool, good for you. But one of the reasons I wanted to get a Xbox specifically was that a while back I had bought several DLCs and digital games on Xbox One before I had to sell that console before a big move. So it would be like, if I was to completely jump platforms, I would have lost a bunch of games and DLCs that I already had bought. You know, and I didn't want to throw that away. You know, I had invested, I'd say at least $100 to $200, if not more, getting games and DLCs on Xbox One. So it'd be like, okay, well, I don't want to leave all that behind. So looking back, I think the better move would have been to have gotten an Xbox One, you know, so I could have kept those games. And I like the Xbox One. You know, I don't have anything against it. I know a lot of people didn't like it on launch. I didn't get one at launch, so I can't comment about that. But at the end of the day, I am a bit of a sucker for Xbox. You know, I grew up with a 360. And most of the games that I've been playing on my Series X were also released on Xbox One. For example, I've been playing games like Dead or Alive 6, Return to Arkham City, the Garden Warfare games. So it's like, okay, everything I've bought almost has been released on the last gen. And with Xbox giving up their exclusives, I'm like, what is the point of having this thing? You know, like whenever I bought it, I knew that they were giving some of their exclusives away, like Forza, but I was like, they're not going to give up Halo. They're not going to put like Halo on the PS5. They're not going to put Gears of War on the PS5. Boy, was I wrong, and I just feel stupid for choosing Team Xbox for a next-gen console. I really do. And there's going to be that one guy who's like, oh, well, Xbox has Game Pass. I don't give two craps about Game Pass. I really don't. I wish they would bring back Xbox Live Gold. Xbox Live Gold, that was the stuff. I think, depending on where you live, I think in Canada it was like $50. I lived in America, and you could get a year of Xbox Live Gold for $60 a year. That had you covered for your multiplayer for a year, and you got like, what, 4 games a year, or 4 games a month digitally with Xbox Live Gold? That was the stuff. Bring that back. I don't care about this Xbox Game Pass subscription service. Don't own anything. Your games can be taken away at any time. Nah, I'm not into that. I'm not into that. And to top things off, I think it was earlier this year, Xbox said they were going to stop selling like movies. Like you couldn't buy or rent movies digitally. So that's just one less reason to have gone with Team Xbox. Now that being said, I very rarely ever rented movies on Xbox. I think that could be said for most of us. I rented 2 or 3 movies on Xbox. I can't remember. But that was just one less reason to go Team Xbox, because there's one less feature on the console. And especially with like games I keep on seeing more and more physical games not being released on Xbox, or not being released physically on Xbox is probably a better way to put it, versus on like PlayStation, the Switch, the frickin' Evercade. Games are getting physical releases, but they're not getting a physical release on Xbox. And I'm a big physical media guy. I always try to go physical whenever I can, and I keep seeing Xbox getting less and less physical games, and I keep being like, wow, I should have just gotten an Xbox One, and down the line, try to see if I get a good deal on like a used PS5 or something. And again, I tried my hand at PC, that's just not my thing. Or sometimes I do wish that maybe I'd gotten like an Xbox One, and then maybe gotten an Evercade for the occasional new game release. Now Evercade, they mostly focus on like retro games and like re-releasing retro games, but every now and then they do get some new games. But the bottom line is, I do regret buying a Series X in 2025. I just feel like I haven't gotten my money's worth, and especially with the Xbox losing features and losing their exclusives. The exclusives are what made Xbox, and now that that's gone, the thing is pretty much, there's nothing special about it. Like those exclusives were one of the things that made Xbox so special back in the day, and now that they've been thrown away, it's like, okay, what is the point in owning this thing? Mixed in with all the other things I've said. You can't rent movies there anymore, less physical games, that crappy Game Pass replacing Xbox Live Gold. And just to add to things, like the 360 store shutting down last year, that didn't help anything at all. And I just feel kind of dumb for choosing an Xbox. It feels like it was just the less good choice to make. And I kind of feel dumb about it. And I'm running out of things to say, and I'm running out of breath too. And if you can't tell, this video wasn't scripted. I have a couple notes, but this was mainly just me wanting to talk about why I feel like it was an unwise investment and why I regret getting it. And again, I'm not complaining. I'm not ungrateful. I'm not unthankful. I do use the thing. It's just like, I think my money could have been spent better elsewhere. And I'd like to know your thoughts down in the comments. Do you think I made the wrong call? Because I think I made the wrong call. And this isn't my usual type of content. I mostly review video games, but today I wanted to talk about a console. And that's all for me for today. I really have nothing more to say. Thanks for watching. Jesus loves you. And like always, none of my content is ever made by AI, and I don't consent to my voice and likeness being modified, altered, and copied by AI in any way. My foot is starting to fall asleep, so I need to move. Have a good one, y'all. Peace.